He was a traveling minister at 16, ordained at 17, but Mort Crim really found his calling not on the pulpit, but as a member of the press. Walter Cronkite, Paul Harvey, Jessica Savage, and Will Ferrell all figure into his new memoir, Anchored, a journalist's search for the truth.
I've been blessed with a good voice, and I'm very grateful that at age 85, that's probably the only part of my body that hasn't changed.
This is WNEW News, up to the minute. Mort Crim reporting.
Mort Crim first rose through the ranks of radio to become a network radio reporter and anchor, covering the biggest of stories.
I think, after reading the book, that the space program perhaps was nearest and dearest to your heart.
It was certainly the most exciting.
The rocket has cleared the tower. A powerful Saturn rocket taking 3 young men and an ageless dream on their way to the moon, and it looks like a perfect liftoff from here.
Crim covered that for ABC Radio, Walter Cronkite for CBS News. It was Walter who helped Mort get his first anchor job in Louisville. It's one of many stories Crim shares in his new book, Anchored.
Good evening. It's a scene that's become painfully familiar to Detroiters.
Crim spent 20 years as the main anchor at WDIV in Detroit. In an earlier time, when he was anchoring in Philadelphia, Crim says he had an affair with a co-anchor that would haunt him for years.
Good evening, I'm Mort Crim with Jessica Savage.
Savage would later become a star at NBC. Crim says their affair remained an unspoken issue with his wife until the day she died.
There was guilt for the pain that I had caused her, and it was her understanding and her love that helped me to get through one of the darkest chapters of my life.
For a time, Crim was the fill-in anchor for radio's Paul Harvey, but he says a philosophical difference with Harvey's wife ended that. He created his own syndicated radio series instead. In later years, he found a different kind of fame. Will Ferrell revealed Crim was his main inspiration for Anchorman.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
They finally met at the Anchorman 2 premiere.
He said, I want to thank you for the way you've taken all this in good humor. And I said, well, frankly, if you had billed this as a documentary, I'd really be pissed. But I said, as a parody, as a satire, I enjoyed it as much as anyone. I thought you did a good job.
If you'd like to get anchored, one place to find it is mortcrimspeaks.com. Besides the broadcasting world, some of Mort's stories involve faith, family, and flying. He was a pilot for 70 years, sometimes flying himself to cover a story. And he told me he just gave up flying this past December, thought it was a good idea to quit while he was ahead. David, Ellen?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. You know, he's written other books. One of them is How to Be as Terrific as Your Dog Thinks You Are. It's a really great book, and he's written, I have several others, too. The guy is amazing. So check it out.
He's a good author. It's
he really is a good
read,
writer.
What a fantastic story, George. It was so much curiosity about who that character was based on. But he was so dignified.
I know.
Too.
I love it. He said, as long as it's not a documentary.
Yeah, that's great. Well, great report by George.